YouTube. I want to show you the power of Wireshark profiles in this short video. We're not going to go into a huge amount of stuff, but I think it's really, really important that anybody who uses Wireshark knows how to use profiles. And we've been saying this for, well, ever since they put profiles in Wireshark, so for years, and you'll see more on that in a little bit. So let's start up Wireshark and take a look. Now, I'm presuming here you have never used profiles before, or you didn't even know they existed. So I've got a pretty clean installation of Wireshark. So here it is. You can see there's no prior files that I've opened or anything like that. It is recognizing all of the interfaces on my system. And if you look on the lower right-hand side, it says Profile Default. That is how Wireshark starts up. It starts with a default profile. Now, if you change things in Wireshark, they are written to your profile. For example, if you change the size of Wireshark on your screen, that's written to your profile. If you select an interface and you start capturing, the default for Wireshark is to use these 3 horizontal screens. As soon as you reposition any of this stuff, if you drag these panes around, if you make the fonts bigger, like I just did, all of this is immediately written to your profile. Now I'm going to stop capturing here. So where is your default profile? Let's take a look. If we go to Help and About Wireshark, you get this little pop-up. Now, if you're on a Mac, you have to go under the Wireshark menu. So Wireshark, About Wireshark. There's a Folders tab right here, which I have selected. And what you want to do is go down here to Personal Configuration, and you'll see there's a blue path list right here. It'll look different for different machines, whether you're using Linux or mine is obviously Windows or Mac. Double click that, and you should get a file manager or a finder, depending on who you're using. And you'll see it pops up. Now, you may not have the GeoIP database on your system. That's okay, but you will see that there is a profiles folder, and if there isn't, don't worry, there will be when we're done. And then you're going to see some recent things that we just changed right there. There you go. So you can see that this default profile is right here. The cool thing about this is that in Wireshark, you can create custom profiles, and this is where the power of profiles comes in. If you open up this folder, there should be nothing there unless you've created a profile before. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a custom profile. We'll just do a simple one, and then I'll show you how you can get a ton of profiles and really escalate the power of profiles in Wireshark. Okay, let's go back here. All right, we'll just put this kind of to the side for a moment. We'll come back to it in a bit. I'm going to say OK here. Now, one of the most important things that we always want to see whenever we do a packet capture is delta times. Delta times from the prior packet that has been displayed on the screen. I don't know why it's not part of the default profile. It really should be. A lot of people, you'll hear a lot of people say this. Those of us who've used Wireshark for years, we all agree. It probably should be there. So how do we do this, and how do we change our profile? So the first thing we want to do is we're going to right-click on here, down in Profile, and we're going to say New. Now, you can also do Manage Profiles, but I'm going to say New Profile, and we're going to call it Better Default, and say OK. All right, so now it's called the Better Default Profile, and you'll sort of notice it goes back to sort of normal. All right, what we want to do is then open up the frame area of a packet. So you have to do a quick little packet capture just like I did. Open up the frame area and go down here to one of the expert logs here where it says time delta from previous displayed frame. Yes, that sounds great. So what we want to do is right click on this, and we're going to say apply as a column. And you'll see that that field now gets inserted between the info and whatever the field is to the left of the info. And it will always do this. Whenever you add a column, it will always want to put it right there. That's not the best place for this, nor is this huge long title the best title. So let's fix this. We can fix the title by right-clicking on the title. We can now say, let's edit the column. Okay, and this gives us the title, it gives us what field it is in there, etc. So we're going to just change this to delta time. And then we're going to say OK. And now you can see it has changed. And now we want to click with the left and drag over here right next to the time column. So between the time and the source. And then if you hover right between these two titles, between the two columns, you'll see you'll get that sort of normal column divider thing. You can slide that over and now sort of make that look a little bit better. There you go. You have just made a better default profile for yourself. It's literally that easy. Let's do one other thing for fun here, because I think this should also be in the better default profile. If we find an IP packet, actually some of these are v4 and v6, so let's do a search for ICMP. And let's just see if we have any ICMP. We don't. Never mind. Let's do it a different way. Let's go to View and Coloring Rules. You're going to get a pop-up like this. This is the default coloring rules. These are the rules that in order are applied by Wireshark to packets that match whatever the filter syntax is. There's one in here that just makes no sense to me. It's right here. It's called ICMP errors. Now, it's green. If we click on this, you'll see the foreground is sort of this green color and the background is black. It doesn't make sense to me. Green is usually go or good or whatever. So an error to me should not be green. I just don't like that. So I'm going to customize this. I'm going to click on the foreground and I'm going to pick an orange color instead and say, okay, there we go. So now ICMP errors are going to be orange on a black background. And I'm going to say, okay. Again, that makes complete sense. This is now part of my better default profile. How cool is that? All right. So you can go crazy here. You can make profiles based on protocol, etc. And I want to show you how to now harness the power of knowing how to do this and really, really go crazy with profiles. All right. So what I'm going to do is open up a web browser and I'll bring it over here. And we're going to go to www.cellstream.com. This is my website. Oh, I must have mistyped it again, but it's found cellstream.com. So cellstream.com. And you land here. Just give it a minute to fill in. And what you want to do is hover your pointer on resources. And from that, we'll drop down the Wireshark Profiles repository. Oh, how cool is this? To my knowledge, this is the only one on the internet and has been for years and years and years. Okay, so I created this repository because I was a big believer in profiles from the first moment they were made available. And I believed in sharing these so we can all leverage the power of profiles in Wireshark. So it says, welcome fellow packet analysts, sniffers, network troubleshooters, and other Wireshark geeks. We have been asked countless times over the years to provide a sharing place for Wireshark profiles. And as most of you know, and perhaps this is one of the most important capabilities of Wireshark, right? And absolutely, yet there are no repositories for Wireshark profiles. And I say, what? In fact, I just attended a webinar on Wireshark, and one of the presenters said, and I'm quoting this exactly, okay, these were the exact words they said. They said that they do not like sharing profiles because they said, and this again is a quote, you don't know what things have been set in the profiles that you yourself have not created. And I say, what? That is absolute nonsense. I mean, I get the point, okay? I get the point. Someone could sneak something into a profile that is bad. And I agree. And there are bad actors out there. So if that was the point, I get it. So you should be wary of this, okay? And I'll say that up front. So you should unzip a profile and make sure it only contains text files. Okay. That said, there's no reason not to share profiles. Okay. So we do not post anything here that we would even consider to be shady. I totally vet everything that's here. I am the only person who can post stuff to this repository. If somebody sends me a profile that they would like to have on the repository, which by the way, I welcome, and you can send them to me, I will always vet them first. I will always test them out on a virtual machine. So if I'm exposed to any problem, I could just destroy the virtual machine. And then I put them here for download. Okay. So I do all of that for you guys, and I encourage you to use these profiles. So how do you use our repository profiles? What we do is we zip them up. So there's some instructions here in Windows, there's some instructions for Mac, and there's instructions for Linux. Okay. And here's my little word about contributing. So feel free to do that. You can select multiple of these if you want to do that. You just click on which ones you want. Then at the top of the screen, it will let you download all of them. These are always in zip format. You want to put these in your download directory, decompress them. Okay, decompress them, and I'll actually do one here. So look at this. There's a better default profile for Wireshark. Okay, so let's download this one. So we'll do the download here, and this went to my downloads directory. I'm going to actually move it right here to my desktop so we can kind of see it. Move this a little bit to the right, and I'm going to unzip it right here. I'm going to say extract all, and it should put this on my desktop. So we will see this. Here it is. Okay, now if we open this up, what you will see in your file manager or your Finder is there is actually a folder called Better Default. And if we open that up, you can see that there is some content, which is mostly text files. Okay, so there you go. Very nice. So what we want to do with that folder, now you got to be careful because you can have a folder inside a folder here, okay, depending on your operating system. So you want to get the one that has, if you open that folder, it's the files. Okay, so I'm going to go back a level. There we go. So I want to now copy this into my profiles area. Do you remember how to do that? So let's go back here. We go to Help and About Wireshark. Click on Folders. Double click on the personal configuration. There we go. Okay. So now what we want to do is open up the profiles. Notice that's my other better default that I created a moment ago. I'm now going to take this one and I'm going to copy it over here, and it's going to say, do you want to replace it? And I'm going to say, yeah, go ahead, replace it. It's fine. There you go. So now I have that better default profile that I downloaded from the repository. And you can keep doing this, right? You can repeat this process over and over and over. It's literally that simple. And now you will have the better default profile in Wireshark or any other profile that you select. That, ladies and gentlemen, is how you take the power of profiles and just take Wireshark to the next level. So one of the things that I do is I actually have collections of profiles that I use, okay, depending on the situation. Like I have Wi-Fi profiles. Now here's the cool thing that you can do with this, okay? So I'm going to go back a level. So I see the profiles folder. I'm going to bring my profiles, my Wi-Fi profiles over here. I'm going to actually, just let's delete this one. You don't have to do this. I'm going to delete it. And then I'm going to rename the Wi-Fi profiles. I'm going to just rename it to profiles. Okay. There we go. So I've just basically installed a whole bunch of profiles. If I double click on this, look at this. I have all these profiles here. Well, some of them are zipped up, but I have all these profiles. So now if I go back to Wireshark and bring Wireshark, and I think you actually have to close Wireshark here to get it to recognize the new profile. So I'm going to say quit without saving, start Wireshark again, just to be sure. There we go. It's going to come up. And, okay, I can say switch to, and now look at this, I have those other profiles. So I have my WLAN detail profile, and if I go and capture on my Wi-Fi, oh, look at this, I got all kinds of buttons here. I probably have all kinds of filters. Oh my goodness, all those things just changed. So again, you can keep collections of profiles, organize them like you want, and really take yourself to the next level using profiles in Wireshark. I hope you find this helpful. I hope you leverage this, and I hope to see you grabbing lots of profiles out there at the Cellstream website and grab any one of these that you want. There's voice over IP, there's IPv6, there's some basic stuff as well, TCP stuff, BGP. Have fun, right? Customize Wireshark. And then if you come up with really cool profiles that you think I should have here in the repository that you would like to share with other Wireshark ninjas and gurus and all of that stuff, please send them to me. I'll be glad to vet them and then put them here. Thanks for watching.